Hello, I'm Prathyush, and today I want to talk to you about OMG 2, written and directed by Amit Rai. OMG 2 begins with a disclaimer that's also a sobering portrait of the state of storytelling. ये फिल्म समाज में यौन शिक्षा के महत्व को उजागर करने के लिए बनाई गई है. That this film was made with the express intent of throwing light on sex education. The story is incidental. What is central is the unbending moral spine. This is both a warning and a framework through which to see the film. One where characters emerge from social issues, not the vagaries of life. Characters are reverse engineered from a pamphlet. Their interiority is best expressed in protest posters. There is very little distinguishing a protagonist from an idea, and to see people battling is to see ideas battling. But the thing about a film of ideas is that the film only works as long as the idea is compelling or complicated. In OMG 2, that central idea tying the droning 2.5-hour duration together dries up as soon as it is whipped onto the laundry line. That it is okay to masturbate. Hast, maithun, yawn, santushti or selfie. These are words used to describe masturbation, that simple act of pleasuring oneself in OMG 2. A society that does not take pleasure seriously prefers shame as the language of maturity. But what of the genre of cinema, the social message drama that finds in this shame its villain, but is yet to make pleasure its hero? In OMG 2, the act of masturbation is central to the drama. Pankaj Tripathi plays Kanti Sharan Mudgal, who is devotedly attached to a Shiva temple. He sings hymns, he has a shop at the temple premises. His son Vivek, played by Arish Verma, is caught masturbating on camera in school by his classmates. That video goes viral and he is forced to leave school. Clouds of shame hang over him and his family for wife and daughter. Inspired by Shiva, who descends on earth in the guise of Akshay Kumar, Kanti takes up the case, fighting against the school represented by Kamini Maheshwari, played by Yami Gautam. The case itself is weird because the issues are tangled. Is masturbation wrong? Is masturbating in school wrong? Is filming masturbation without consent wrong? The arguments keep flitting between these three questions as though they are all the same thing. But they're not. One is about the act, one is about the location of the act, and one is about the filming of it without one's knowledge. Kamini's anglicized evil is a chilling villain. When she walks towards the witness box, the soundscape growls. That the man fighting for sex education is a bumbling Hindi speaker with no sense of the law, while the person fighting against it is an educated woman who's more comfortable in English, is the flipping audacity of this film. It questions the assumption that modernity is the prerogative of the West, the anglicized, the urban. It recenters the periphery. The problem is that the film takes this argument to its most extreme, most irritating conclusion. This might be a spoiler, but it is important to consider this when thinking about the flaws of the film. In the coiled, inane legal arguments that make up the second half, the film finds an ideological villain and decides that it was Lord Macaulay and the British in the 19th century that introduced India to shame. That before the British, Indians existed in this open field of shame-free entanglements. This argument, which the film supports, conceives of a glorious, golden, sexually frank Hindu past that expressed itself through the Kama Sutra and the erotic sculptures of Khajuraho. OMG 2 is a masterclass of taking a progressive stand so insistently, so vociferously, that it bends into a conservative, narrow, selective reading of history. It is true that our history is filled with stories and imagery that is erotic. It is also true that our history is filled with stories of punishing desire, advocating a more austere kind of life. To take either as essential to an Indian past is a severe disservice to the complexity of our civilization. If I seem to fixate on the ideas of the film, it is because of how the film itself is framed. In OMG 2, successor to the sleeper hit OMG, you don't have a sense of what kind of father Kanti Sharan is to his son, except through the limited window of this issue, the shame it causes him and the bravery of fighting the lone fight for him. Similarly, no character is expressed as anything but their opinion on the issue at hand. They're pin-ups on a legal board. Technically too, there's something broken about OMG 2. Its surface is cracked by an amateurity of both image making and pacing. Scenes flip past as though sped up. The scene where Kanti Sharan first confronts his son about masturbation is a painfully cut up cadaver of a scene. No moment, no dialogue, no gesture is allowed to express itself fully. The humor too never stains a scene. The accents wither at will, the color corrections are so sharp, the contrasts so bleak. You can see shards of blue in the eyes of people. The images of devotion have the gaze of a detached documentary, while the music insists on a devotional epiphany. The faith film, the social drama film, is riding on conviction, all pressed on the shoulders of the gifted Pankaj Tripathi. But which lone shoulder can carry all this dead weight? And for how long? For more reviews like this, subscribe to Reviews and More.